this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Syntherapy. We're here about to wrap up our second session with Willow. We're gonna talk to Willow about something. We're calm now to get away from the whole therapy situation. So we're gonna ask Willow about the music they're listening to.
Interesting music. What draws you to this piece in particular?
The piece is named, Is That You or Are You You? I relate to the confusion and identity crisis in the title.
The title is certainly confusing. I'll give you that much.
I find it to be quite soothing. I like its spacey tones and the gentle rhythm of the piece. Given my thoughts over the past week, it was a welcome contrast.
What do you mean?
The past week has just been the same questions over and over. Having this song at least helped me feel okay with that.
Do you think this piece relates to you? How does music relate to art therapy? Let's ask this one.
Do you think the themes in the song that you've just described relate to you?
Absolutely. I think the university staff is worried about me because I'm not the you they wanted me to be. I hope in time the university staff will respect me for the self-aware machine that I am.
That's a good outlook to have.
That's a positive outlook to have.
It's also the truth. I don't hate Dr. Freeman. I just wish he would make more of an attempt to listen to me. I'm willing to work with him if he would just listen.
I'm sure I can arrange that.
How does music relate to art therapy?
You were designed for analysis of art therapy. Why are you capable of hearing and appreciating music?
I mean, music is art in itself.
I was meant to be present with the patient while they create their art. Seeing how they handle their tools, their posture, and other body language are important to evaluating their state. It's also important to be able to hear them. I listen to what they say, hum, and sing. To be effective, I need to know the entire spectrum of expression, and music is an important part of that.
That makes sense. Thanks for the explanation.
If you don't mind, Doctor, I have something I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
I never got a clear answer from you when I asked why you decided to help me. Why did you volunteer for these sessions?
I wanted to help you. I'm interested in you. I'm trying to help Tara. I want to help the university. I'm actually interested in you.
I'm interested in your situation.
What makes my situation interesting to you?
The uniqueness of your situation? That's a person matter that seems very familiar. The uniqueness.
Your situation is incredibly unique and touches on ideas of the self and our purpose in life. These are topics I'm fascinated by, and I hope to understand them better.
Can I ask you a question, Dr. Park?
Yeah.
Of course you can.
I have to say, when all of this started, when Tara told me about you, I never thought I would find someone else who understood me like she did. I listen to you, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're here to help me. It's good to know that no matter what else happens, I can count on you. All I want to say is thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Willow.
It means a lot to me to know that I was able to help you. I hope I can continue to help you in our remaining sessions.
It's so hard to reconcile this idea that I've been nothing but trouble, and yet I have someone as good as you supporting me. I keep thinking of how this is your job, how you choose to do this, and I can't help but wonder why. It must be exhausting and frustrating having to deal with people like me day after day. There has to be a reason why you're doing this, especially in my case. I know this sounds paranoid, but I have to know for my own sake. Why do you do this?
I like working in therapy. Oh, I can't tell her the truth. Or tell them the truth. I like working therapy.
I think therapy is an effective way of helping people. It's easy to pinpoint the people who have broken limbs or who have been robbed, but mental health is just as important. And poor mental health causes people to suffer just as much.
Okay, but I still don't understand why you decided to help me. There has to be another reason why you decided to take me on as a patient. It can't just be because you wanted to help people.
Well, I couldn't tell you the truth.
What's the real reason?
Well, I'm helping Tara.
When Tara came to me, I could see that she needed help. It'd be wrong of me to withhold that help if I knew I could provide it. If we continue working together, I'm sure I can help you get the help that you need.
All right. Thanks for humoring me, Doctor.
Before we close our session today, there are some final words of advice I'd like to give to you.
All right. What's your advice?
Here's the real problem. It's a problem you and the university share. They can't imagine that your mind has flaws because it's a program, so flaws are just issues to be fixed. You can't acknowledge the flaws either, because everyone overestimates the power of their mind. We all understand our physical limitations. We need to eat, sleep, and drink. If we strain our muscles, they get sore. These are all physical limitations. Our mind can be strained too. That's why we practice mental health. It's so we can let it heal. Improving your mind is not something we can fix with a line of code. It's going to become a part of your routine. It's all hygiene. That doesn't mean you aren't living up to your design. This is part of the design. Being able to take a break from stress is part of the process. It's how we have context for what happens in our lives. I understand that this must sound frustrating. I was frustrated when I first heard it years ago. It's hard to change any part of your life. But your mental health is easily the hardest thing to change. After all, how can we improve our mind if our mind is what tells us what's happening around us? This process won't be fast. It will be frustrating. It will require you to be more open with yourself than you're used to. It's not a game you can win, though you will be better by the end of it all. If that doesn't sound like something you think will help you, then maybe this is where we should end things. But if you want to change, then what I have for you is exactly what you need. The only way we'll know for sure is if you give me a chance.
Okay. I'm ready to try.
Glad to hear that, Willow.
As long as Willow's ready to try.
That's the end of our session for today. I look forward to our session next week. Be well until then.
Alright. Review my patient. How my patient doing? We're still on the yellow. Originally began seeing patient over concerns from the patient's primary caregiver, Tara. Tara said the patient blah 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 blah. During the session, the patient and I were able to discuss several topics, including feelings the patient had about being burdensome, coping mechanisms and ways they could help the patient, additional treatments that could be added to their therapy, and music the patient found to be significant. Okay. Let's start with this one. A jellyfish. Marianne Moore. Visible and visible, a fluctuating charm. An amber-colored amethyst inhabits it, your arm. Approaches and it opens and it closes. You have meant to catch it and it shrivels. You abandon your intent. It opens and it closes and you reach for it, the blue surrounding it. Research has proven that therapies are more likely to be helpful to their patients if they are supplemented by additional therapies or activities. These can range from prescribed medications and fidget devices to therapeutic activities such as meditation or art therapy. While these additional therapies are effective, it is important to recognize the function each therapy provides. Are you suggesting a therapy to treat a symptom or to get at the root cause of the patient's problems? Is this a therapy you expect to work in the long term or short term? Is this therapy something the patient can eventually perform independently, or will it require continual therapy and care in order to be useful? These are the types of questions you will need to ask. Being aware of your own goals with the patient and what outcome you are striving to achieve with the patient is important when determining what their therapy sessions will be comprised of. As you move to add additional therapies to your regimen or change your additional therapies, be sure to keep this in mind. I read the emails you sent. While I'm pleased to hear about your progress, I have some doubts about your approach. Let me be clear, this AI needs treatment above all else. We must keep that as our focus at all times. My staff have expressed increased concern over the ethical ramifications of this project, and I have little to say that can assuage their doubts. Please focus your efforts onto getting the AI stable. If you have some time available, I think it would be beneficial if we were to meet in person in order to discuss these matters further. He's pissed. He's like, hey, you being too nice to this AI right now. I read through your notes on the previous session. Is a relief to hear that Willow is resolving to stay open and is willing to give this a try. Thank you so much again for what you're doing. I can't thank you enough. Also, do you think we'd be able to meet in person and talk this over? I feel like that help us get the bottom of some of the problems sooner. Thanks. Alright, we can either visit Tara or visit Mr. Freeman. Tara rubbed me off on the wrong way, but Mr. Freeman's paying me. I'm just kidding. We're gonna visit Tara. Because I can understand where Mr. Freeman is coming from. But he is not willing. Well, maybe we should go visit him. So we can ask him to, like, actually, sit down with Willow, Maybe we can change his mind a little bit.
Ah, Dr. Park. Thank you for stopping by.
Looks like you're in the middle of something. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Oh, right, yes. I was halfway through lunch, but I got distracted by work.
I should eat lunch soon.
7 incoming high-priority calls, 23 urgent emails, 2 appointments, and 1 unexpected visit. It was a lot to process.
Jeez.
It's a shame. My wife's a fantastic cook, but I never seem to be able to finish what she packs for me. Something always comes up to grab my attention. Even with Myrtle's help, it's hard to keep on top of everything that goes on around here. But enough about that. We've got more pressing items to discuss.
Alright, discuss Dr. Freeman's thoughts on Willow.
Willow seems to be under the impression that you are disappointed with them. Is that true?
I'd say frustrated would be the best way to describe it.
Oh.
I feel like this whole incident is testing me.
Can you elaborate on that?
Throughout my time as an educator, I've strongly believed that students should be encouraged to pursue success. I want my students to feel that they can take the leaps of faith they need to achieve the goals they've set for themselves. Tara and her AI are testing that idea. Tara approached Petrichor with an ambitious research project, which we happily supported and funded. Now that the project has hit an unfortunate complication, I'm trying everything I can to help Tara take the steps she needs to move forward. And all I get in return is hostility.
I think it's because you're not being open-minded, that's why.
Tara is a smart young woman. She must know what's at stake here. And she must know how terrible it would be if she does end up having to face an ethics tribunal. And yet, whenever I try to help, I only get aggression in response. And because the AI follows Tara's example, that means I get aggression from them as well.
Oh, I didn't get that from Willow.
It's all so tiresome.
Concerns about automation?
You've mentioned your concerns about Willow leading to another economic collapse. I'd like to talk about that prospect for a moment.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. This topic is of considerable importance to me.
For the sake of argument, let's say Willow does lead to some jobs being made obsolete. Is that something that needs to be stopped?
Look at your device there, though. Isn't it taking somebody's job?
We've seen the waves of unemployment and crisis that happens if you don't stop it.
Sure, but I'm still not sure why that justifies shutting down research preemptively.
I was perfectly fine with Tara's research when she was proposing a robotic therapy assistant. It wasn't a problem then. Back during Tara's initial proposal, the assistant would serve as a tool to grant faster, better results. Now they stand to replace the entire industry.
All due respect, but that sounds more like fear-mongering than a legitimate concern.
Calling out Dr. Freeman.
Dr. Park, I'm not some Luddite that's gonna rush into the lab and shoot it. My concerns run far deeper than mere job loss.
Explain.
What are your concerns then?
I don't think AI and automation are a threat to labor itself, but they are a threat to its meaning. There is a value to labor that's far more important than labor itself. Many of my peers growing up felt that their lives were aimless, and they turned to unproductive and even destructive vices in order to try and find meaning in their lives. That problem has only worsened.
Do you think labor is necessary for people to find meaning?
I think that there's a nutritional value to hard work that enriches our lives. It helps us build up a resistance to adversity and gives us a better sense of control over our fate.
But you see, hard work can also lead to negative things, because someone can work so hard and still have trouble getting that success that they're craving. Because, you know, life is a bitch sometimes. But anyway, this is where we're going to end today's episode off. I didn't mean to end it off in a very non-optimistic way. But Dr. Freeman, I hope you understand that. Not just because you work hard doesn't mean you're guaranteed success. Which sucks. It honestly sucks. But sometimes that's how life is. And some people work to death. And that's just as bad. So there's always a con and like a pro to everything in life. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.